Hey, I'm Ryan,
Andrew.
and this is Instant Trailer Review. We're reviewing the Star Trek Into Darkness full trailer that went up today. Came out with The Hobbit last week, and there was the 9-minute prologue kind of thing that came out in IMAX, which Andrew saw.
Yeah.
And
it
he
was
loved it.
Amazing. It was worth the price of the ticket for The Hobbit. I quite enjoyed The Hobbit a bit, but the prologue was just so amazing.
So, I mean...
And viral.
And there's a viral out, and we'll get to that going down because it pops up.
If you haven't gotten from our previous trailer reviews or from these past 30 seconds, we're really excited to see this movie.
Yeah.
Insanely
excited.
I am such a big fan of J.J. Abrams. We were just talking about this in the office. I think he's the next Spielberg.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, he certainly, like, I think the feelings I had when I first saw Star Trek, the closest I felt since the original trilogy of Star Wars or Indiana Jones or something. Just that sense of pure adventure and fun.
Yeah, and like that's a really good point. There's a fun to it that a lot of people, because the newer kind of promo material has been darker, people are a little worried that it won't be as fun as the last one. That it'll kind of just go dark. Like a lot of comparisons have been made to like Christopher Nolan's Batman films.
I feel like
the
that's...
bomb of the last trailer didn't really help that. But I mean, you saw the whole prologue. I've seen pieces of the prologue. The fun is still there.
It's still there. The opening prologue was very Raiders of the Lost Ark, like an opening adventure.
Which actually, this shot is part of the opening prologue.
Yeah, exactly.
This whole sequence.
Yeah, they're well, we won't spoil it.
Yeah, yeah, but this is is the main part of Jim Kirk and Bones.
Yeah.
Their whole part of the prologue basically takes place in this sequence,
and it's a lot of fun. It maintains that light humor kind of.
Yeah, the thing is that the way these films are written, and they're written so well, by Kurtzman, Orsi, and Lindelof, like these characters, you can't put all these characters in the same room and have it not be fun.
Yeah,
like even if they're going through something very serious, there's kind of the dynamics are so vibrant and alive that it's hard for it not to be fun, even if they are dealing with serious
Bones
issues.
and Spock are in the same room, you're gonna get a laugh out of them. You know?
Yeah, and Chris Pine, especially as Kirk, is so charismatic and brings such like a truthful kind of
he's so
likability to it.
Yeah, yeah. In this VO, he's
Do we
Captain
figure
Pike.
out more of who he is though? Who's coming back?
Well, Cumberbatch in the prologue.
It should be said also the voiceover right now is Bruce Greenwood.
Yeah, as Captain
Christopher Pike, who was in the beginning. He was in a lot of Star Trek, the first one, but mostly at the beginning he kind of becomes injured and trapped.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that they're bringing him back. I like him a
oh
lot.
My God, he's amazing.
So great.
He also he played in motion capture the monster in Super 8.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I totally did not know
that.
that.
He did the motion capture
awesome.
performance for him. Yeah.
I really like that guy.
Yeah.
He's very cool.
Anyway, so Cumberbatch.
Well, Cumberbatch, he has a bit role in the 9-minute prologue. He's actually the very first thing.
Yeah.
Very bit. But it actually makes the conversation, it pushes the conversation forward as to who he is.
Yes.
Because what he says in it, and can't spoil it, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be
but there were stills released by Paramount this week that in the captions identify him as John Harrison.
Yeah. And you know what?
I'm not
makes sense
convinced.
because Miranda Tate was in The Dark Knight Rises, and that's who she was.
Right.
You know, she wasn't anybody else. She was just Miranda
Right, of
Tate,
course.
obviously. So the official release name of these characters always matter.
I think there is little that will convince me that he is not Khan. Like, I think J.J. Abrams loves doing this. It's just like, look over here, look over here, look over here. And at this point, they've officially said he's Gary Mitchell. And they've officially said that he's John Harrison.
Yeah,
so
Gary Mitchell was... I think John Harrison might have been a character in the original series. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Gary Mitchell definitely was.
I actually believe someone said, I think John Harrison may have been a character in...
Spacey? In the Con? Or in the Next Generation?
I may be mistaken, though.
Oh,
so
okay. Interesting.
I don't want to say, but they both are Star Trek characters who have been present in Star Trek canon things. Again, I just think it's misdirection. Like,
well, there are a lot of interesting things that make me think it's Khan. Like, for one, they try to get Benicio del Toro in the role first, and more in line with the race of Khan was. And then they went to Benedict Cumberbatch. So that doesn't really say a whole lot. This kind of reminds me of Skyfall, like just like all the folding the flags and all the Enterprise. Kind of,
all the agents.
It's very sad, but I think this is also a marketing trend happening recently, probably since The Dark Knight Rises, which didn't have an ounce of humor until the TV spots a week before. Now here,
which I mean, they knew. The thing is like with a movie like this and The Dark Knight Rises, like people are going. They don't have to sell them on the fun, but like I feel like when they release the TV spots, they put them on at night during prime time when families are watching when watching TV together. They want to be like, don't worry, you can bring your kids too. When you're in a theater and they're putting it with The Hobbit, they know they're just giving it to people. Just give it to people.
And I think that's really pause. Well, we also have to. This is where they introduce the viral. Now, if you look to the right of the monitor, right below the kind of brain scan thing.
Let's see if we can.
Yeah. So right. Oh, there we go. And it says, "Are you the
1701, which is the call sign of the USS Enterprise, NCC 1701.
So you go there, you go to areyouThe1701.com, and you sign up like a newsletter kind of thing, and it's the beginning of a new viral. So that's kind of cool.
I mean, it's always fun. Yeah. It's always fun leading up to a summer when J.J. Abrams has a viral going.
He's the king of that, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I noticed it was Cloverfield, and that was incredible.
That was amazing. So that's marketing for the ages.
So this is from the scene that we got the captions from with the John Harrison. Later in the scene, if the stills are correct, Spock and Kirk are kind of surrounding.
Yeah.
So we kind of get more into the action part. This looks awesome.
So amazing. There's a longer segment of this in the 9-minute preview of following him for a good 5 seconds, and he's kind of in the we've seen a bit of that in the first Star Trek movie.
Yeah, the space jump sequence.
And just like a lot of debris of stuff, and here the Enterprise gets
is getting jacked up.
And this is interesting too because we didn't see any scenes in space in the last teaser.
Yeah, that's true.
We finally have some.
Now this is really interesting to me. Now, okay, I don't want to get too geeky about this, but if I may speculate a little bit, these people are hanging on, and this crew member is falling down, which gives the indication that they're probably in an atmosphere somewhere.
Oh yeah.
From a scientific standpoint, I know that like there really couldn't be gravity on the ship, but on the Enterprise,
the ship is so damaged that it succumbs to the gravity outside of it, and it's
possible.
Not
then
in
she wouldn't be
space.
falling. Yeah. Well, I'm saying like the Enterprise kind of swoops and turns in space all the time, and no one's ever falling all over the place. So this kind of gives the indication. And later we see in the trailer,
in our atmosphere,
it's very clearly in an atmosphere
of the planet. Yeah.
I just want to point this out.
That's such a cool shot.
That right there is a Klingon warbird.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's the exact shape.
We see John
and we know
Harrison.
the Klingons are in this film.
Yeah, because Cumberbatch shoots one.
Yeah, and if you want to see like a kind of a clear look at what a Klingon warbird is, there's like a simulation of them in the test that Kirk does, the Kobayashi Maru test.
Oh right,
and he destroys Klingon warbirds.
like a pre kind of almost bad CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
That was fun.
It was certainly fun. So
and that was Alice Eve, and they confirmed that Alice Eve is Kara Marcus, who was Kirk's love interest a long time ago.
His estranged wife in The Wrath of Khan.
Wife and mother of his child in The Wrath of Khan.
So she's been confirmed.
Doesn't necessarily confirm that Khan's in the movie.
Right. But doesn't even confirm that she is that character.
Exactly.
It confirms that that's what they're saying right now.
Exactly. And I think that's good because, I mean, like, obviously she had such a big role in Wrath of Khan. But they're going along with the timeline, and even though the timeline's slightly altered, they're still going to meet a lot of the same people. They're still going to have a lot of the same relationships.
That was really the charm a lot to me of the first JJ's first Star Trek, is that they were playing with, like, even if the timeline was changed, these people would still meet, and they would still kind of be part of the same crew, which I think is good. So, I mean, this is just, we saw this earlier. I think as I see more and more of it, it's obviously the Enterprise.
Yeah. Now, here's an interesting thing, because they're playing in the same timeline as the original series, right? I mean, like, generally speaking, aside from the shift in time that he and Nero in the first film like kind of made, they're still kind of staying broad strokes. Yeah,
like Jean-Luc Picard did.
Exactly. So going by that rationale, you take into account that, okay, most likely this is going to be an original series enemy, because they have to still face a lot of those people. Or at the same time, you can say, okay, what has altered in this timeline? What has shifted? The biggest thing that shifted is that Vulcan is no longer existing, which means that there are now a group of Vulcans who, like, don't have a home. I've heard some speculation that could be a Vulcan like pissed off that his planet was destroyed or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's maybe showing too much emotion.
Yeah.
But it's
also,
interesting to.
I mean, I didn't get a good look at his ears, but I didn't notice them pointing.
I don't think they were. Just weird speculation.
So there's the shot again.
And that's definitely there was a really funny, in-depth look that some guys on,
and if you
I think,
look
Collider.
into the letters, there's the wreckage that you see in the poster as well.
Very cool.
Which is really a nice touch.
So the guys at Collider actually looked at the hands and studied the hands of all the characters, all the actors in the movie.
They cross-reference them.
They cross-reference, and apparently the vein going up in the hand, this is probably most likely Spock. He's doing the Vulcan salute, and this is Kirk. So it's an inversion of the classic scene that is in Khan.
Right.
And I just want to say, I think the marketing is genius, for one thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige said of Iron Man 3, everybody looks at the teaser for that, and they're like, oh my god, this is so dark, this is so heavy. And of course, Iron Man and Star Trek both have kind of brevity to them. They're really humorous, but they're still, adventures. I think it's really genius how, and Kevin Feige said that Iron Man 3 is going to be funny. Like, it's going to be a funny movie.
Yeah.
I think it's genius that we already know that we have all the same actors in all of these movies.
Yeah.
Skyfall 2, very dark.
Yeah.
Concentrate on the villain. I think that's the thing with sequels. They concentrate on
also
the gravity of the threats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also, all movies now are kind of conceived as trilogies. It's like whenever actors sign on, they sign on for a 3-picture deal. It's always trilogies. Just from a narrative standpoint, the second act is usually when all the bad stuff happens.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
honestly,
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's it's a setup, it's an introduction, and then it's the conflict, and then there's the resolution. Now that's not to say that the third movie of this is going to be like all happy flowers and joy, but like usually, I mean, look at Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire, Jedi. Like Empire is when all the bad stuff happens. It's what sets it up for the climax of the entire arch of the series. Exactly. So, I mean, it's not crazy to think that this may be darker than the first one, but that doesn't mean that it won't be fun. I mean, you're dealing with... I mean, you have, like, Scotty is never going to be, like, a whole movie of Scotty being really serious. It's just not going to happen.
I hope he'll get, some emotional moments just shine.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me, and going into that 9 minutes, like... The thing I love so much about it is that immediately off the bat, we're with the Enterprise.
Yeah.
We're with the entire crew. It's kind of like The Dark Knight. Immediately off the bat, he's Batman.
And
you don't have to set up an hour of him not being Batman.
And it's cool because every shot, you're like, check. You're like Kirk, Sulu, Uhura. Like, you just, like, everybody's there.
And everybody in that 9 minutes has kind of an introduction of humor.
And it's always kind of fun to see those kind of scenes because they always walk in, like, nonchalantly.
Exactly.
Like they were just, like, in the next room, but we haven't seen them in 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
It's like Kramer going through the door.
Yeah, exactly. They don't pause for applause.
And JJ totally knows how to work that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Really
so,
great.
obviously, we're over the moon. We're over the moon about this movie.
Over the moon.
But what do you think? What do you think of the new trailer? What do you think about Benedict Cumberbatch's role?
Are we totally off in our
He's
assessment
Khan.
that he may be Khan?
Khan.
Gary Mitchell, I know a lot of people really believe that.
But
really, nobody's right now.
You don't know if they're doing double bluffs. You don't know. But comment below. We'll be commenting back. We want to know what you think. Until next time, I'm Ryan.
I'm Andrew.
Thank you for watching.